the first few picks? Is it all about offensive weapons, or do we need to consider some of the things we talked with our buddy Mike Kliss about yesterday when he went over a handful of positions that they want to address? And what did he give us? A offensive position at wide receiver?
One.
And then running back tight end is something we all talk about. But, yeah, it was one that he gave us. And a part of the press conference yesterday, a question to Sean Payton was asked about these offensive weapons. Hey, Sean, is there a premium now on getting offensive help for Bo Nix?
I've answered this before and referenced it, and I mean this. There's two great allies that I think for quarterback play, to help quarterback play. It's real good defense and obviously a real good running game. And so I appreciate that term weapons, and yet I think, look, they'll be focused on the running back position. It's a pretty good draft for running backs. It's a pretty good draft for interior defensive linemen. When we sign a good football player, in free agency, Dre Greenlaw, we feel like we've helped our team and in turn our defense and then in turn the quarterback position.
All right, so that's another great job of Sean talking and not really answering the question. But does talk about, again, it's about the fifth time we've heard him talk about defense and a running back. And they've done the defensive side. Running game, well, he didn't have the horses that he was looking for a year ago. And then you hear him talk about how deep this draft is. I feel like yesterday was a lot about, especially George. George Payton was in and out real quick with a lot of his answers. They were protecting something yesterday, weren't they?
Are you ready for my conspiracy theory?
Oh, hell yeah. Nice. Thought it was a different version.
Wrong button. That's if you were to go to be a president, that would be your conspiracy music.
Okay, all right. My conspiracy theory is this, because it's conspiracy time. George didn't want to have nothing to say because they didn't want to spill the beans.
He was, dude, quick.
Look at the faces of George and then look at the faces of Sean when they were answering the question. When George was answering the question, Sean was like, don't say anything. When Sean was answering the question, George was like, I hope he doesn't say anything. George is very controlled. He's very, very controlled. He's very, sedate and professional and all that. Sean's the wild card, man. He could have said, man, we love Ashton Genty. Like, he could have said anything yesterday. He could have said anything, but my conspiracy theory is he was coached, asked, begged. I mean, he took George's water bottle from him. It was like, you got your Starbucks cup right here? It's like if I just grabbed it and just started drinking it.
Oh, wow.
And then I just looked at you. It's my Starbucks now.
It's
my
drink,
punk. Exactly. Jinx, you owe me a quarter. That's what happened yesterday. The looks on their faces told me in the answers to certain questions about like moving up, moving down, and then you just saw the look of like, don't choke, don't say anything. I think something's cooking over there. Could be wrong, and they just pick at 20, and it's a Marion Hampton, and Kev takes his shirt off.
That's the video I'm looking for
Kev,
on social.
I hope you come out to Sportsbook, DTC, right? That's where I'll be in the first round. John Davis, broadcasting, of course. But, no, man, something's up over there because, boy, they couldn't contain themselves yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird with George not wanting to say anything, and then they didn't even do it in person. That's why Sean Payton sounded like he was in a bathroom on speakerphone, because they didn't want to do it in person, and it was on Zoom for some reason.
Yeah, but it was on Zoom. They're sitting in front of microphones, and the microphones aren't hooked up. It would be like if you and I were doing the show like this. I'm talking about the draft right now. Yeah, turn your damn mic on, Broncos. Come on. It's like when you ever FaceTime, and apologies to any of my relatives that I may be throwing under the bus right now, but you ever FaceTime with, grandparents, parents, what have you, and they don't understand the simplest of technologies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you just click the thing, we talk, I can see your face. I don't know, I'm on mute. Like, you're on mute, Dad. Like, come on.
Well, what it is, it's usually like one of my uncles, and I'm like, hey, man, first of all, change the angle of your phone. Second of all, trim your nose hairs. What's going on, dude?
Yeah. Maybe Sean had the look of a guy who's going to get his nose hairs trimmed.
That's probably what it was. All right, so speaking of the offensive weapons, they have 7 picks. Cecil, 3, 4. I'm looking at running back times 2. There's 2. I'm looking at another tight end. There's 3. I'm looking at a wide receiver. there's 4. I also think they pick an offensive lineman in this draft. I think it's a guard. And you know what? Maybe I can put the guard as an unsigned free agent, right?
Sure,
the guy that
right.
doesn't get drafted, but you're still bringing him into camp to see what he can compete with. But I'm looking at 3 minimum, and probably 4 of the 7 picks go on offense for next week's draft.
Yeah, I would have at least 4 of those because I want 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and a wide receiver. There's 5. Okay, there's 5.
No guard,
And-
no offensive lineman for you?
No, you can go UDFA.
Okay,
It's fine.
okay.
Because this year, because if it's a double draft, your undrafted guys are going to be next year. If they were to come out next year, they'd be like 4th round picks. It's really that bad next year. For all y'all out there, like, I can't trade the picks. Why would I ever trade picks? You would trade picks for next year's draft. Once you take a look, just a little gander at it, you're like, oh God, there's nothing. That's not what you need. This year's everything that you need. Everything. So if you're the Broncos, make that move. I'm going 5 on the offensive side.
Okay.
And a defensive tackle within the first 3, maybe the first pick.
So then you'd have, there's 5 defensive tackle, and then you mentioned cornerback yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's from their perspective.
Uh-huh. But in my dream scenario, or my dream draft that I put together on Orange and Blue today with Andrew Mason, who's talking to Daniel Jeremiah today.
Oh, what up,
actually,
Ames?
right now, DJ's talking. And DJ's, like, conference calls last, like, 2 hours.
What?
Yeah. So we may have a Broncos Daniel Jeremiah answer for you coming up, noon, 1,
What the
something
hell
like
are they
that.
going to talk to him about for 2 hours?
Everybody loves talking to DJ, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the man. And you may not know this about me, but Daniel Jeremiah, once he left scouting, his first job in the media was 2 years on my podcast.
No way.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did
So
not know that at all.
We dipped his toe. I don't think we paid him, but thank you,
Yeah.
DJ. And he's been a dear friend ever since. He was a dear friend when he was scouting, but yeah, he's just the man. That's why people want to talk to him for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's welcome to the business. You want a job? It's not paid. You still want a job?
Well, also, it was like 2007 or whatever.
Yeah.
We're like, it's a podcast. What's
Yeah.
that? I don't know. It's a podcast.
You worked for free.
Yeah.
I worked for free for 2 years.
I worked
in
for
this
free
stuff.
for 4 years. Kev's like, I'm still working for free.
I'm still working for free.
Wait a minute. You guys get paid to be here?
Wait, we get paid?
All right, Broncos country. You tell us. C says 5. I'm at 4 with
Call your
running
shot.
backs times 2, tight end, wide receiver, and a guard. I think I'm probably good with pushing that guard to an undrafted free agent that you talked about. But with kind of the unknown of guard there with Ben Powers, wouldn't mind seeing him and start to develop that next person behind there. So you tell us what you want on the RamosLaw.com text line at 303-713-1043. And if you put your name on it, you'll get a shout out here on the show. All right, mention the draft next week. Maybe you're trying to get the crew together for a draft watch party, playoff